In the name of God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen. Please be seated. Sir, we wish to see Jesus. I may not use the word sir, although I was raised in the South. But we wish to see Jesus. It's kind of why we're here today in some ways. We may not articulate it that way. We may not even think about it, but it is this thing in that I will tell you that I have some issues with the institutional church. Shocking. I'm part of the team, but I have some issues. And I'm sure that we could talk about the issues we have. And one of the things that I really struggle with the institutional church is how often we miss the mark. How often it's kind of like there's a parable, a modern day parable that Anthony DeMello talks about in one of his books. He's a theologian that wrote about some good stuff. I recommend him. But he talks about a bus that is going on this grand adventure. And in the bus, there are all these people. And they're going through this incredible countryside, just amazing scenery. And all of the blinds on the bus are drawn. And instead of looking out the windows, all the people on the bus argue about what seat they're supposed to sit in. Welcome to the church. Sometimes, right? We're allowed to say this. We're allowed to get frustrated. And for me, it's like, golly, really? That's what we're going to focus on? We're going to focus on, and I'm not picking on people that like their pews, because I sit in the same 3 chairs all the time. So you can't, if I'm pointing at you, I'm pointing back at me. I'm talking about kind of bigger picture, that we tend to focus on the minutia and we miss out on Jesus. So when have you seen Jesus lately? Because I believe that what we are celebrating, leaning towards in Holy Week, is celebrating the story that Jesus is not just a historical thing that happened back there, but that is today. And I think you have the only sermon that I consistently quote that I actually remember. I just don't remember many. God bless you for saying, I remember when you preached that one. I'm like, really? That makes one of us. So, it's great. But she preached a sermon a while ago where she asked the question, and it's a great question. Who has Jesus been for you this week? Where have you seen the incarnate God? Good question. Do you have some images that come to mind where you've seen Jesus? I was getting ready to come out here, and I just told a story that reminded me of, I got one. Those times when you see Jesus, or Jesus speaks to you. I was in seminary a few years ago, and I was in my, I had my cassock, which is the black dress, over, and then the white kata over it. That's the white one that goes over it. And then I had this tippet on, which is kind of like a scarf. And I was dressed up. And I was the officiant, which meant I chanted. And I killed it. I did. I was good. I was so proud of myself. I was like, yes, I am so holy. Right? You have those moments when you're just like, yeah, I got this. And I was like, And up ran my daughter, Hannah. She was 3. Boom, 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 boom. Daddy, you look silly in a dress. God's voice was heard. Rob, keep your feet on the ground, son. Pay attention. So where have you seen Jesus? And I think that's our work as a church, as as humans, as people that say that we are Christian in a world where being a Christian is kind of wacky right now, folks. There are a lot of people that are on TV or not even on TV that are saying they're Christian, and I'm like, huh. And I'm not judging as much as I'm saying, well, then I'm not that. And so I think it takes some work, and this is where our bishop is so right on, where theology matters. We need to look at what we say when we say we're Christian, when we say that we follow God, when we say that we want to see Jesus. What are we saying? A few weeks ago, I talked about how when it comes right down to it, Jesus was just about people and love. And where he got in trouble all the time was he was lifting the shades on those buses and saying, it doesn't matter what seat you sit in, look outside. He said the rules don't matter more than people. I mean, think about that in our current climate. We're a land of laws. Great! Some of the laws really stink. We need to change them. And somebody's going to go, ooh, he's talking politics. Bishop Tutu said it best. If you're not talking money and politics from the pulpit, you're not reading the same Bible I am. That's all Jesus talked about. Not partisan necessarily, but he definitely challenged the status quo and said, how can we make this better? How can we show Jesus? How can we let everybody know that they are loved beyond their wildest dreams? We're at the end of Lent. Does anybody else feel like that went by in a blink? And we're leaning into Holy Week. We have an opportunity to tell this story, to hear this story. And I will tell you that I have a temptation, or it could be a habit. I've been doing this for a little while, not forever, but a little while. And people say, oh, Holy Week, that's so much. Yeah, we do 1,000 church services. But as my father said, and I've said, it's just church. It's all written down. It's helpful. But we can kind of put on blinders and just go, we're just going to do this thing. And I hope we won't do that. Pray for me that I don't do that. Pray for me that I let this story break me open. Break me open so that I can see Jesus. Lately in this community, we've had a lot of sadness, a lot of death. It's part of life. It's an incredible privilege that we have together to celebrate life at the end of this earthly life. And you all do it really well. I saw Jesus yesterday in somebody's honesty. We were in the kitchen, and I walked into the kitchen, and people that were helping with the reception, I said, how's everybody doing? And 9 times out of 10, or 99 out of 100, people will go, oh, it's great. Hey, Rob, good, we're doing great. This time, one of the people in there looked at me and went, I'm tired. And was like, ugh. And I saw Jesus, the honesty of saying, I'm really tired. And then her next comment was, and there's no place I'd rather be. How do we reflect that to this world is my question. How do we, as a community of faith that loves each other, imperfectly, but we love each other, how do we take that love and reflect it out so that when people say, we wish to see Jesus, they don't get met with a stick and a rule, but rather open arms and love and an invitation to a process that we're not quite sure where it heads. This understanding that we're willing to ask questions and wonder together rather than pretend that we have the answer. That's a little scarier, but it sure feels honest. So if you have some issues with the church, join the club. And it's okay to have those. And I want to be perfectly clear that Jesus is why we're here. This love is why we're here. And I believe that we walk in these doors on a Sunday morning or whenever looking for Jesus. And I believe there's a world out there doing the same thing. Pray for me. And I'm so grateful that you do. I need it. Pray for me that I will not kind of put on the blinders and say, we're just going to do the things and pull down the shades and argue about what seats we sit in. But that I will pull the shades up. Look at the beauty of this world that we have been given and share Jesus. And remind myself over and over again that I look silly in a dress. Amen.